partnership with the local MPO. As far as who in particular, Nish is kind of our point of contact there from the county. Madeline with DCHC is our point of contact there. I'm your Stantec point of contact and lead, and then Daniel Rao is kind of our partner with Withers Ravenel. And again, I'm a transportation planner, multimodal planner at heart. I've been kind of working here in Raleigh in the Triangle area since 2006. And there are a whole supportive team behind us. The gray silhouettes there on the side. You know, it's not 1 and 2 person teams here. We work on teams of 5 to 10 to 12 people on all of these projects. So have a whole bunch of supporting cast kind of working with us. All right, so I want to kind of go over the where and maybe a little bit of the why. This project is here to get cohesive and actionable strategies. We're trying to get integration of travel, multimodal travel here. We care about the design, the development, and implementation because this isn't planning for planning's sake. What we don't want are lines on a map that are not feasible. So we're trying to really focus on implementation and real projects. Now, yes, we are focusing on the unincorporated areas of Orange County, everywhere on the right that is not in blue. But part of being, quality design, development, implementation is making sure that all those lines match up and are seamless across boundaries. I think that is a primary focus here. So the public doesn't use transportation facilities in certain jurisdictions. They use them as a cohesive network. And so that's obviously our focus as well. To that end, this plan and these recommendations that are pulled from a variety of sources will fold right into the regional transportation plan for the next MTP update with the DCHC MPO, with the next MTP update for Burlington Graham, that's BG, not BC, my mistake. And that's obviously going to Mebane and Burlington to the west. And also the next CTP update for Tarpo in the larger region, or that is the triangle kind of area. So we're folding these upwards and downwards and across jurisdictional lines. That's what makes planning really, really, really fun because it layers upon itself. Okay, so like the what or like the deliverables that are expected, this is where I get to say that just going through the planning process of assembling and reviewing resources, that is a really important deliverable in and of itself. So we're going to have 2 rounds of public involvement, and I'll talk about what's involved in those in just a minute. But also the process of assembling, synthesizing, reviewing plans, integrating all the things that have been recommended across these jurisdictions, like that in and of itself is a really valuable resource and kind of sets the level of this is the floor as of 2024 or 2025, and this is what we knew then. Without it, everything is disaggregated and fragmented, but this process really brings it all together to a common understanding. We're also going to generate some really important deliverables. The multimodal access network is kind of that high-level framework. The prioritization of any of the network gaps is going to get down to what's more important to construct when, in what phasing. The implementation strategy will be how to go about some of those prioritized segments and gaps. The policy recommendations will talk about how what I would call like lines on a map really mesh with the areas around it, the land use. So the lines don't really do much without the land use connecting it. If you've ever heard the integration of transportation and land use, that's exactly what we're talking about. The transportation system in itself is a bunch of lines that sort of connect at nodes, and that's about it. But there's a whole bunch of land uses supporting that really changes how we see and use and view our transportation network. And lastly, one of the best assets of our colleagues at Stantec is our North American funding program. So a real funding plan to go about some of your higher prioritized projects and capitalize on some of that discretionary grant opportunities out there to help you build some of those really important connections, first, second, third. Because a funding plan really is about how you value your resources and how you're going to allocate the really limited funding towards what you need to get done. And sometimes there's some strategic advantages in there with discretionary grant fundings that you can capitalize on. Okay, so timelines are fun. We have a 12-month or more timeline. It is flexible because we're trying to locate our meetings with other initiatives and outreach that's that's going on, because the last thing you want to do is have a whole bunch of meeting fatigue, come to this meeting A and that meeting B and this third meeting C, and really those topics are similar enough you could have had them all at once. So as we're listening up front and gathering resources, we're going to be looking for opportunities to present like this, to raise awareness and promote, and to have kind of co-located meetings where possible, to really capitalize on that momentum. After that, we're going to transition to what we call like the testing phase. We're really going to examine and kind of see what best fits before going to a refining phase of getting things really kind of more clear. You'll see that it's really fuzzy on the left and really precise on the right. So we're trying to bring it down from ideas and vision down to concrete realities here, and then documenting everything as we go along, but mostly in the end. So if we had to break the project into 4 phases, that's what we'd be trying to do. Listening up front, some testing and feedback in the middle, really refining, and that would be our second round of engagement there in the refining phase, and then documenting. So our engagement strategy, briefly, let's say there's 2 different types of engagement. There's the digital outreach and the in-person outreach. And both of those can have different audiences, different formats, different questions asked, and different expectations of participants. So with the digital outreach, we're going to have a project website, an online survey, and an interactive map, both launched from that website. We've acquired the domain walkroll OCNC for this project, and then any links from there will bring us to our project website using ArcHub platform, and we will launch the survey and interactive map from there. So you don't need 3 addresses, you just need the one. We're also going to host some focus group, what we call listening sessions, with different stakeholders, mostly around a topic or a theme, and have some good interaction there with some knowledgeable stakeholders with really particular interests. So those will all be topical. And then on the in-person side, there's going to be 2 rounds. So the community events, pop-up events, kind of 1 and 2, can take place either in round 1 and round 2, or maybe they'll both take place in round 1, depending upon when those events are. And then the 2 rounds of in-person workshops will be kind of the talking about issues, barriers, and hazards up front in round 1. And then round 2 would be more about priorities and implementation, right? So we're asking different questions from each of these for different results. This group can really help support us by identifying some of those locations or groups to make sure we're involved in. So I'm gonna finish on a slide in just a moment about how you can stay involved. But that would be really helpful to kind of help us get the message out on the website, to really promote some of those virtual engagement opportunities, and then help fill our focus group listening sessions as well. So there it is. How can you really help support this team and this process over the next 12 months? Help us with identifying the who. So we want to bring as many people to the table as possible. The consultant's role is really to help facilitate that, but we don't know the who. So we need your input on stakeholders, community organizations, small business owners, your vulnerable communities nearby. We want to make sure that we're reaching the right who, and so we'll constantly be asking, who else should we bring to the table? Who else do we need to put this in front of and get feedback from? You can also help with the what, and that is what other plans, initiatives, studies, local policies, anything that's local and specific and documented. We're asking, where is it, and can you bring it to our attention? Are there data resources available with that? Because that whole assembly of data resources is it's a big fishing net. It's about trying to cast the widest net possible and reel it all in so we can understand what we're working with as predecessors. So we want to hear and want to see all these valuable resources. So please send links, share documents, everything you possibly can to get us up to speed. And lastly, the where. So number 1, that's the interactive map when it's going to be launched fairly soon. That's identifying a lot of the local issues, safety hazards, places you like to go, destinations, barriers that get in the way, and help promoting that interactive map. Because the more points on the interactive map we have, the easier it's going to be to identify the regional assets, the destinations you're trying to get to, and the things that need to get solved along the way. I'd also say the where we can engage more people, where we can host meetings. That's another, it's not just an item for location-specific topics, but also where can this information be disseminated. So if you've got ideas about where we can present and who we can present to, we want to hear about those as well. So in a nutshell, that is the project. I believe that's the last slide. Yes, it is. And that's how you can help us. And that's what we're kind of putting together as we move forward. And really happy to kind of take any questions if there are, or just thank you very much for your time this evening, kind of getting you introduced to where we're going.
And to add to what he just explained, today I've been passing around flyers, and I really appreciate Tim and Stantec for helping. We have coordinated our first pop-up event, and it is going to be at the library December 7th on a Saturday from 11 to 3.
Which library?
Hillsborough Library. Trying to wait to see, I was going to go to Chapel Hill, but Carver has that old building, and I thought the new library would be open by now, but it's not. So, want to thank Stantec for helping us with that. To coordinate that, you'll probably see flyers out there. You should see them out now in New Hope Market and Chapel Hill, Carver here in Hillsborough, Weaver Street stuff. December 7th, Saturday, 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock at the building next to us, the library.
So one thing I want to mention is we're gonna generate some QR code to the website and survey, just like this, and have these to send out and hand out. And we'll give every group and resource we're working with a stack to also disseminate. It's a great way to help promote. It's a great way to get people directly to that project website to take that survey and interactive map as well. So just some promotional materials as well. People don't love physical handouts. Electronic is best, but sometimes these really get the message home. So also in the works to be distributed.
When does the survey start?
As soon as the website goes live, whenever we get the
Yeah,
website up.
survey is actually waiting for us. An interactive map is waiting for us, and the website is almost ready to be launched. So we're purchasing the domain, connecting it, and making one last check for like spelling errors and things like that. But it's really close. It will obviously be out on December 7th, but it will be walkrollocnc.com. Obviously, we can email that too, get a bit.ly link that's even shorter. And each of these resources will be launched from the website. So you don't have to know the survey website. You don't have to know the interactive map website. It's just one website link.
We're waiting for the website itself before we share all these. I'd rather than giving everybody information about this and that. Here's a website where they can you stay active.
Right. Good point. Yep.
Ocean, Weaver Street, but also Mapleview Farm.
Yes, I was meaning to go by there. I was meaning to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I assume that they would have access to any kind of safety accidents, that kind of data, right?
They'll have the access to the Triangle Regional Model, NCDOT data, DMV report crash data, and all that will be part of it.
Yeah, as a transportation planner, there's three really great safety resources in North Carolina. One is the bike ped crashes, one of the high frequency crash intersections, and another one are just the fatal and severe injury crashes. But between those three, which are publicly available, we're pretty good at disseminating those resources from those very valuable NCDOT platforms.
So are you only having 2 in-person events? And one of them is the library?
There's 4. There's 2 pop-ups, there's community events, and then there's 2 workshops. So there'll be actual 4 public events.
I was gonna say it'd be really great if you could go speak at the Carolina Tar Wheels monthly meeting, because those people ride more in the area that you're talking about than anybody.
I'm happy to do that.
Yep.
I just need
And those
time
groups will
schedule.
be in the listening sessions too. So, I mean, there's other ways of getting that feedback too. So happy to promote, happy to kind of do a briefing and meet as well. And they can be part of those focus group listening sessions, one of which can be just local bicycle, like on the ground clubs, right? So that's one tremendous resource to tap into.
And if y'all know them, if y'all give me location, time, meeting, and I'm happy to go to them and do these meetings myself, because we have a department specific public development plan that we can do and engage and use the resources. When we did the short range transit plan, I bought a tent and table and stuff, and so I can do these ourselves. We can do meetings in a box and do these. So if I can have your help in identifying, locating them, I'm happy to do it.
The other is the schools, I think.
That's why I was looking at.
Anything else for me?
We're good. We're talking about other engagement stuff, like getting into schools and other places we can do. So if I get a list together, I'll let you know.
Schools is a great idea. I've got a short list of community organizations like that to kind of run through, and some of them apply and some of them don't apply. But all those school contexts, I mean, I walk and rode my bike going to school in elementary and middle school as well. So absolutely agree. All those resources are wonderful. And thank you for already starting, your homework. It's the who and the what and the where. So awesome job.
Thank you.
One question, you said something about the bike ped crash tool, and my understanding was that HSRC isn't keeping that up anymore. Do you know who's doing it?
So I go to NCDOT's resources from the traffic safety unit, and it's the same reporting mechanism up to FARS, the fatal accident repository system, something like that. So it's the same data sets involved. And there are lots of versions of them out there. HSRC might have their own kind of as well, but NCDOT with the 3 in different years are really valuable resources. The bike ped crashes go back to like 2007. And then
Yeah, but how recent do they go?
as recently as 2002, and I believe there are updates for 2003.
That's like 10 years old.
I'm sorry, 2022 and 2023. What year are we in? Yeah, 2022, yes, and I believe 2023, most recently.
This is a crazy question, but as you get to recommendations, it seems like one recommendation would be for drivers. And how do they, when they are on a 2-lane road, like, old NC 86, and there are all these bicyclists, and there's lots of turning. People who are drivers don't necessarily know how to drive around bikes.
Education will probably be something we will tackle in the fall when we start doing the recommendations, like the
Right.
education
But
material.
I think it's important to think about the driver's side of that equation, to try not to lose that.
Great point. Driver behavior is one of those topics, and speed that's just so well related with the policy and education and encouragement programs.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other questions we're just simply kicking off the meeting, kicking off the project. December 7th, there would be more of a public facing kickoff at the public event to get this process going. Like you said, it's 12 months and they have enough time if they need more to get it done by the end of next year.
Do a lot of outreach because I think people there, there's a lot more growth going on down there, and a lot of those people want to get places by bicycle. Also, bus stops where people don't have safe ways to walk to the bus stops is a huge thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Really naive question, I apologize, but, in our drivers, I know our driver's education manual is relatively lengthy and fully, maybe you might be closer to this. Do they actually train you how to drive around? No. There's nothing about bicycles in the driver.
There is a little bit.
Maybe 1 page or something.
It does say that bicycles are considered vehicles and that they may take the full lane. Beyond that, way a bicycle driver interacts with a bicycle is the same way they would do it with a vehicle, any other vehicle. There is a friendly driver program that Bike Walk NC puts on to several communities, and a lot of new driver classes to teach drivers the best practices. There's a pamphlet that NCBOT and Bike Walk NC put together that's called best practices.
Would it be able to do put something up about that, at the DMV or something where people have to wait a while anyway?
Great.
Thank you, Tim. I really appreciate it.
Thanks everyone so much. Looking forward to working with you later.
See you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, that was I only wanted y'all to have an update on the bike ped planning process, so help with the engagement stuff. So if y'all know groups and anything, please let me know so I can get them involved. Also in your packet is also the minutes from last meeting. If there's any corrections, please let me know what any corrections are needed.
Did have a question. I don't think you saw it. It was an email to you, but when the minutes have been modified, is that what, first of all, is that what the Orange County Commissioner sees? And second, where do those minutes live?
Okay, then to answer that question, when y'all had to approve minutes, when y'all take a motion to actually approve those corrections, we had to take those corrections, make those corrections and give it to the county clerk's office. Once they see them, we put it on the T drive, countywide share drive that goes to everything that they can see. We also post it on our website. The only ones, we changed the previous minutes that were posted for the final approved minutes on the website. Like when you go to Agenda Center, if you look on the Agenda Center that we have. The final minutes, you should see the approved change minutes link here. So this link is the approved final minutes. Yeah, so we need to go back and make sure Emily's working on helping make sure that we have all the corrected minutes that are there. And once those confirmed, we have the corrections, we're posting them onto here what the final approved minutes are.
So, they pressed the school plan. They did not have our minutes.
They had your action in the presentation that I gave, your action. I put them in the presentation slide. If you look at the presentation slide, they had the action that y'all took on that in the, for
But
that.
it didn't reflect the things we changed in the minutes.
Those changes were in you wanted the changes to the plan, those changes were in the action that I presented in the last slide. That y'all wanted all priorities, every project in the area school was considered high, that was an action that y'all took, so the action slide said, hey, y'all wanted the approval with this change. The mile limits, you wanted, I think Michael, you asked for the mile indications on it, that was an action to the approval to include that change. And the MSTA thing that schools to do MSTAs with each school do an MSTA emphasis on that narrative, that was in the action of the last slide. So I didn't give them the whole pages of minutes, but I gave them your actual detailed action.
I think a whole lot of reading of actual minutes, these committees very all at the DOC fee level opinion.
90% of the stuff, I would say that's true, maybe 95%, but there may be 5% where they'd like to know what the discussion.
They usually say that they'll tell me what were in the minutes, and then we'd have to come back to the item and bring them the minutes in the next meeting.
There are no corrections for the September 30th minutes. I'll move approval.
Do we have a second?
Okay.
All in favor? Aye.
In your packet is also the annual report and work program for next year. I have not made changes to the previous one, so what I did was give you the previous. I need to go back and review and add changes to the previous one. Yeah, I need to go back and change it. Some of the changes I need to include is that y'all completed the Safer to School plan, the short range transit plan, the transportation multimodal plan. Those three were done. You implemented the Orange Grove Road survey. You probably saw engineering crews out there on Orange Grove Road doing surveying work. So Orange Grove Road is moving forward in small ways. So there's 4 things I need to show documenting improvement in that, kicked off the bike ped plan, which y'all just did now.
If it's right with typos,
Yeah.
typos and there's stuff in there that's correct, it's really bad.
I
Doesn't even have Michael's last name right.
It's close.
But I prefer that we see the actual final report before we take any action on it.
So I'll bring it back in January. I'm not due till February. I'll bring it back in January. Of course not. Huh? Yeah, I'll email you the updated version, so when you come back in January, y'all can take an action on it. You'll have it in an email, and I'll hand deliver it as well next month.
Hello?
Minutes we are approving on September 30th. That's a typo on my part on those minutes. We're actually approving minutes from the October 21st meeting.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
I didn't know I had to-
September minutes are,
I see that.
September minutes have already been approved. They were approved at the October meeting.
okay,
So
Are
that-
these minutes the October?
Those are the
Even
October.
though they say September.
Everything.
that was a typo. That's a mistake.
The minutes are right.
Minutes are right. I didn't get this high. What did you?
October minutes were approved.
Minutes up on the website. Is there a reason why when you click on meeting schedule, it doesn't have anything there? I was looking for today's meeting because I hadn't heard about it.
You can see anything?
It's okay. I've figured it
I
out.
have corrected that. And I have to
No,
begin.
no, we're good with that, but I'm just saying, I've looked online, if you scroll down, it'll have, meetings calendar.
Yep, I see.
No, you went to
Document
agenda,
I will update that there and once you go up next, show it says meetings.
right?
That link is not working. The link's not working. Okay. The link is not working, but the agenda, when the agenda, that is the link. Yeah. Yeah, that's the video. The video is supposed to be posted. When the videos are done, because when y'all approve, take action, those videos are also posted.
Outboard meeting in a minute.
Or just, there's no meeting in December.
I was hoping to avoid a meeting in December. I got enough meetings on my plate that month, and I mean, if y'all want to,
Want to have a special?
I'm gonna try to have a special meeting, but it's only for those who want to participate, because this is getting into the weeds of development review and getting into the data of multimodal assessment. I'm trying to avoid having to go to the General Assembly looking for authorization. I have a plan of action with the planning department to do a detailed review of all development review processes to include multimodal assessment rather than just TIAs. Charlotte started it. Charlotte already has it. They're spread to Mecklenburg. Some places across the country are doing this. They're taking their TIAs and making it multimodal assessments rather than traffic assessment. So I'm going to show how to do that, and I'm working with. I've been doing spent past several months going through all the legal review, going through all the process, and I have a plan of action. I'd like to present that to y'all, but it gets into the weeds of data and it gets into the weeds of regional modeling and multimodal modeling. And so if y'all want to get into the data kind of thing and see how data shapes transportation, I'll schedule a special meeting and invite y'all to it in sometime in early December, mid-December. So I'll have the Ashtos Green Book out with it. The only other thing that we have left is, if y'all want to, elections, chair, vice chair, and secretary.
I have a question. Secretary.
That's because staff has been secretary.
I know, and that's been very nice, but now you're saying we're electing a secretary. And just kind of,
Help. So first chair and vice chair, one thing,
is it funding that we won't have Orange County staff to help with being the secretary?
I'm strongly requesting and encouraging. It's not mandatory. Secretaries are not mandatory. Chair and vice chair is not really mandatory either, but it was strongly encouraged to keep the meetings in order.
I think we should have a chair and vice chair, but I kind of like having staff as the person who takes the meeting minutes, so. And don't all the other boards have one?
I don't know. I've looked at the other boards with their secretaries.
No.
About the parks and planning.
Commission staff does it. Staff person both keeps the minutes and does everything that she does too.
Same thing with the agricultural protection board.
They don't have secretary.
Not,
Wait a second, who is
not a county staff,
They don't have a county
Secretary.
staff secretary.
correct. Yeah, the,
But as a board member, one of this,
person, Peter Sandbeck does what Mitch does. He runs the meetings, takes the minutes and types them up.
Same person in the.
Same person is.
Right, no,
Yeah,
no, it's the same as opposed to an elected person on the board.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I haven't been on one where a board member.
correct.
I can encourage and request. I can't make y'all, so. But so chair and vice chair is still up for discussion, so I don't know if y'all want to do anything. I leave that to y'all.
I mean, continuity,
I would second.
it's
that.
just
That's
important.
a motion.
You got a motion in a second.
It's the will of the group. We're on board.
Then I'll remain silent on the secretary.
You could ask if there's some interest in, if someone
Someone
was
want to
interested
be
in
the
doing
secretary. If
that.
anyone wants to be the
Yeah.
secretary, they probably could get themselves elected.
I don't see any volunteers.
Like come with a car or anything.
Yeah. Yes.
You're a mention.
Your,
Just keep waiting, the car will come.
your service here is voluntary as well.
A bike will come, you just keep thinking about it.
You're on that.
You
club.
little will bring you a bottle of alcohol from the 1940s with no label. It's bad. Yeah, well.
So we have first and a second.
All in favor?
Thank you guys.
Yes, thank you.
Last in your packet is the NCDOT reports and updates. We are scheduling the next NCDOT quarterly luncheon for December. We are working on getting that conducted. There's been some progress made with DOT. One thing I would like to update y'all with that progress is we had a meeting with Chuck Edwards just last week. They are considering and reevaluating Orange Grove Road for delineators. Delineators, or if you go down MLK, if you're driving down MLK, not the hawk signals, the mid-block crossings is one thing, but within that mid-block crossing, you'll see these flexible posts sticking out on the ground. Those flexible posts are called delineators. They are usually put on that last line right before the shoulder to delineate traffic. It's flexible where cars hit it, it can flex, but it delineates traffic so you can't really bump against the person walking or biking or whatever along that area. It's a little band-aid. They're reevaluating Orange Grove Road to put those delineators, because I talked about ballers and ballers was a no-no because that's a steel post, and they're like, no. The damage would be too much for ballers, but the delineator is being reevaluated along Orange Grove Road.
On the bridge.
Huh? On the road and the bridge. On the road, bridge, where kids and people are walking. I don't know how far they're just considering the delineating thing, and I'm asking them to go from Eflin Pond to the school because that's where the sidewalk is. That's why the WSP is out there right now doing a survey of that, to do that. So they're reevaluating. Hopefully I'll hear back from them at the quarterly luncheon to go over that. We're also working with NCDOT to talk about lighting on Orange Grove Road and other places. An issue that came up was Demick's Mill. The MSTA, the Mountain Sea Trail goes through Demick's Mill and goes through that area right when you get off the Demick's Mill, and that street going over the bridge where people can't see where the person's walking. Put lighting and stuff like that to do that. I just gotta I gotta find out with Hillsborough whether it's Duke Power or Piedmont I need to deal with and find out what the fee is. They do the work, we just pay the fee. So I need to work on coordinating that process to see about getting lights on Orange Grove Road. Because with the adoption of the Safe Route to School plan, lighting was a major issue that came out to the Board of County Commission.
Did you,
These are all administratively done, so we don't go to the spot stip process. It's a resource phone call and done.
did you pin down a date for the meeting with the school board?
Oh, yeah, I am presenting to December 9th, Board of Education, the Safe Route to School plan. I think it's a working shop meeting. I don't know if it's how public it is. I know it's their December meeting, but I'm on their agenda for December 9th.
Okay.
For their approved the Safe Route to School plan.
Are you, giving a presentation?
Same presentation I get to the Board of County Commissioners.
Okay.
I'm sorry?
Supposed to be 24.
Yeah, that's their typo. That's that's the typo. It's not 14. That's. This is what they provide. DOT provided this information. We didn't do this. They provide this information. That's a really good catch.
What are the, limits of the survey on Orange Grove Road?
Eflin Pond Boulevard to New Grady Brown School Road, first access, 1.007 miles.
Is that pond the one that's down the hill under the bridge?
No, Eflin Pond Boulevard is a subdivision that's in Hillsborough. It's the one that's on Mayo Street, the intersection of Mayo Street and Orange Grove Road. There's a subdivision. That's Eflin Pond subdivision. It has a sidewalk. Where that sidewalk ends
Okay,
to the school.
School board meeting that wants to go. They are public and they are also live streamed on December 9th, so you can find a link to watch the thing.
I'm presenting to their school. They will be adopting hopefully and along with the resolution to support that. Yes.
Times ago, and I'm sorry, I wasn't at last month's meeting. I noticed that there are signs coming into Hillsborough that say no through truck traffic. Yet there are, I follow big trucks through Church Street all the way from one end to the other. Is there really a restriction on that? And if there is, who monitors it? Or
Okay.
does anybody monitor it?
I'm not aware of any such sign, but if y'all see such a sign, can you please send me a picture of that sign?
Just near, the intersection with Corbin 70. As you turn onto Church. There's a sign and it's right, that's a very narrow part right there and there's no sidewalks or anything.
And there's several signs for that to say that the truck route for 86
Right.
north is to go to Eflin, not
Right.
Eflin,
Right.
Cedar Grove.
But I just didn't know if there is a sign there. Is there actually,
Last thing Chuck Edwards told me, what NCDOT told me is all the streets in Orange County, including the towns, are good for trucks to go through. There's no prohibition on trucks. If there's signs, I need to see what those signs are because DOT wouldn't know. Don't do it while you're driving. Don't do it while the truck's around, but not while you're driving. If I see it, I'll take a picture. If y'all see it, please send me a picture because what DOT's told me is all roads are truck built and there is no prohibition on trucks.
Lights were off after they repaved Orange Grove Road at Orange Grove and Grady Road. On 54 in Hillsborough, they've added a new sign that says, and it's an electric sign that goes on and off that says no right on red. Which is fine. I mean, I don't understand why it's there because it doesn't make sense, but regardless of that, the timing is off on it because it's no right on red when
you have the potential to actually make a right on red safely. But then it goes off when the eastbound traffic on 54 would be coming towards Chapel Hill and has an opportunity to take a left onto Hillsborough Road.
You're talking
That
about
would be
Carver,
the
you're talking about
unsafe
Carver,
time
you're
to
talking
turn
about,
right on red, but that's when it actually turns
you're
off.
talking about the one in Carver.
Not the one at Hillsborough and Old Fayetteville. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So I think that is, it's not always on. And I think that it's like when there's a pedestrian, it comes to, no? Because
No.
tonight it wasn't on when I came.
So I've been noticing, except new, it wasn't there before.
It's been there for about a year.
Okay.
But that's, yeah.
My
But
observation.
the timing is off though, so that's what I'm saying, like, where you could, like, the traffic going across, I said Hillsborough.
Yeah. so-
Old Fayetteville.
Yeah.
When you said 54, I knew you were talking about Carver.
Oh, yeah, so. if the
Feels
traffic
54
was
didn't go
coming
anywhere,
from
it's southwards kind
54 on Fayetteville, like headed towards Hillsborough, right? That would be the time that you could technically turn right on red because there's actually very few cars that come across. But then it goes off when the oncoming traffic from 54 is turning left onto Hillsborough Road, which would be the unsafe time to turn right on red.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
my observation of that is that it's on because of the sight distance and the fact that intersection's not orthogonal with that traffic coming across. So that it's, but I don't disagree with you. But my observation of the timing of that is that it's on when that through traffic is coming through. It goes off when the eastbound lane can turn left.
Yes,
And
but
that's your point.
that's my point
Yeah.
is that you wouldn't want it to turn off when the eastbound traffic is turning in front of you, because that
You
would be the unsafe time to
You
turn
would-
right on red, but that's when it goes, so you're stopped there, it says no right on red. Then it goes off, and then the traffic comes from the eastbound to turn left.
Yeah.
That just, that's neat timing.
I was talking about a different intersection, so.
Oh,
of. That's a Carver, that's a Carver intersection. I can pass the message to Carver.
yes, we can't pass that to you, yeah, pass it to somebody. Doesn't make sense, I'm just saying.
It is an NCDOT road.
It's a DOT road, but in Carver Road.
I do think that's relatively new. I mean, I knew you said a year, but. it
No, I'm
feels like
talking
it's-
about a different intersection.
It feels like it's only been there for like literally maybe a month. So I think they just didn't get the time right when they put it up.
Traffic signal on NC 54 and Old Fayetteville.
In Old Bay.
Can you explain what happens at the NCDOT quarterly luncheon?
We had Chuck and Edwards and I had a good talk about that one when we were meeting on this other issue. The purpose of the quarterly luncheon, original purpose, when it first started, back in 27, a long time ago, was to focus on locally administered local projects, local things that can be done locally without the state STIP and all this other stuff that we go through, but that can be done shaking hand kind of deals and what can be done to get little things improved. Resurfacing, traffic signal, stoplight, stop sign, or this development has got a TIA where this development is going through this and we want those things. That little stuff that can be done administratively, it can be worked it out and organized. The non-STIP, which I'm grateful that y'all want to do it quarterly, because by doing that non-STIP quarterly, we're aligning you with the quarterly luncheon to deal with this. So all these projects you're all listing, like these intersections, traffic signal and things, we can meet and discuss with them at these quarterly meetings to say, here's our project, here's our things we want to work on, can we do these quickly and how can we, what do you need to make these happen? We sort of deviated from that and started getting into other places and other things and other projects like major corridors like 54 and 15501 and other things. And we're trying to go back to the original purposes, these little projects that we can do quickly. Hope that makes sense and helps understand this whole non-STIP list as a big important thing that the Outboard wanted Outboard do to coordinate with better with those DOT lunches. So y'all give us a list. We talk to DOT quarterly luncheon. We get an update. We bring it back to you. And we do this quarterly rather than twice a year or once a year. We would be doing, we'll do a better track of keeping notes of this because this Demix Mill thing issue became a big thing. Orange Grove Road is a big thing. These issues that as more important they are, we want to keep them alive. So we'll be taking better notes and better coordination of those quarterly luncheons with them to do this because Hillsborough and Chapel Hill and Hillsborough have their projects, and we want to make sure we're aware of what they're going on with this kind of thing. Mebane and other places to, so we'll be taking better notes and bringing this information back to you all starting next year. We'll be having a better process. Hillsborough staff, Chapel Hill staff, Carborough staff, Mebane staff will participate with DOT just to talk about these little things that we can get done quickly to get things moving. If this, we do have major things that come up and talk, like things like North-South BRT, more like give us everybody an update what's going on with Estes and Bowling Creek Greenway and Morgan Creek Greenway and all these other things that are happening in other places to stay in the loop, like the Ridgewell Greenway, the train station and things like that that are big. That DOT is like, can't really do anything about it. Chuck is like, that's not my thing. So we do try to do that. So hopefully we'll improve a bit that process going forward with the quarterly non-stip projects that we do here. So I can, as y'all give me that list, we update that list, go through that list, do DOT luncheon quarterly, have that nice conversation with DOT and their staff, and come back to you at the next meeting. Hey, here's our notes.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah.